Good morning to you on this Friday and Happy New Year. We're into 2026. Thank God if you're still here. Yes. And we pray for all the families that suffered a loss on 2025. But we're back hosting this morning, Brother Troy. We have on the line with us. This is Fridays with DL and J. And good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Excellent, excellent. Well, look, we got some exciting things coming on in 2026. Jay is like our political guru. He interviews folk from the president all the way down to the dog catcher. And so, Jay, you want to give us a little summary of what's coming up in 2026? I know, we're excited about this. This is an election cycle for the Board of Commissioner members, Board of Education members, all the way up to the Congress. And so if you would just chat a little bit about that, give our listeners and viewers a little update on exactly how that's going to flow out.
Yes. Well, thank you, Troy. Happy New Year to both of you. I'll be doing interviews with the Cumberland County Commissioner candidates, some of the judge candidates, state representatives that are running in Cumberland County, and we'll go all the way to some of the congressional and Senate candidates as well. So we got a lot going on ahead of us. The plan is I'll be doing interviews in the next few weeks. We'll start airing the interviews prior to the, I think is it the March 3rd or 8th?
It is March 3rd.
March 3rd primary, and more details forthcoming. Should be a lot of fun. I always enjoy doing these interviews, and it's really an opportunity for our listeners to get to know the candidates. So more details forthcoming, but you'll be hearing interviews in the very near future.
Excellent. Well, look, we also have our community advocate. DL is on the line, and DL is a frequent contributor. DL, what do you see coming up in 2026, guy?
Well, there's a lot of candidates out there, a lot of money spent, and may the best man, the best woman win.
I heard that. Also, back with us, he was vacationing and also praying for his family. They suffered a loss, and they're going to have to go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, to a service on next week. But Reverend Carl Brinkley, he's back with us now, and he was gone for a while, but we welcome him back, and he's back in the saddle, guys, so he's handling things this morning.
Welcome back, Pastor Brinkley.
Yeah, he's wearing his favorite Broncos shirt, so I guess he's giving up on the Cowboys. I don't know. I mean,
Bronco Pride.
Wait a minute, look, you're not gonna mess with it, but look, check it out, guys. So Jerry Jones is actually saying we're gonna win next year. I mean, he's declaring this for real. And don't say anything about the Raiders. I don't want to hear nothing about the Raiders. We aren't saying we're going to win anything next year. We just take it as it comes. And besides that, we're not America's team. So just remember that when y'all start throwing shade at the Raiders. We're not America's team.
Could I just ask you guys a quick question?
Shoot.
Who are folks picking at this point? Who looks the strongest in the NFC? Who looks the strongest in the AFC? Any comments on that, gentlemen?
I defer to DL. I don't know.
And right now in the NFC, I want to say the Rams kind of look really good, and then in the AFC, I'll probably say Denver right now.
Okay, I'm going with actually New England, and I'm going with in the NFC probably the Rams. But, let's not forget about those Eagles. Things can happen with Philadelphia. They won it last year, so let's not forget about the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'll say this. It's just that the way I've been picking lately and the way they've been losing, I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, just Who knows? But look, before we can get into some other things, what about that game last night, man? Those people, now look, my daughter spent 4 years in Alabama. I know how serious they are down there.
Oh, yeah.
Be praying for the coach that he can just get out of the state alive because.
I totally agree.
Totally
agree. I was so glad that Alabama lost. Oh boy, that was a sweet victory.
Oh man. So you Alabama hater, huh? I see.
I am an Alabama. Well, Saban and they ruled for so long. It's sort of nice to see some new blood every once in a while. I was glad Ohio State lost. I was glad Georgia lost. So I think it's going to make for some really interesting games coming up for the championship.
So, Deal, what do you think? Because I think Mississippi, Ole Miss is still in the SEC, correct?
Yeah, that was surprising victory for Ole Miss because their coach, Lane Kiffin, is taking the LSU job, and they didn't let him coach in the bowl game. Yeah. And that was a big win for them last night. I just can't believe some of the decisions by Kirby Smart, the Georgia coach. But they move on, but I'm telling you, the Indiana team, nobody's beating Indiana. It's not going to happen.
I love them. Well, it's a great story, too. I mean, they've never been ranked this high. They've never had this kind of potential. I think they're America's team right now. That would be my thought.
Oh, Lord.
I ain't going to say all that.
Wait a minute. Hold it.
That's what I'm saying.
Can you see the look on Reverend Carl's face? He's a Cowboy fan. Man, it's sacrilegious for you to be talking like that. Calling another team America's team. From the Midwest?
Okay, sorry about that.
But look, now I'm just saying, Alabama, Georgia, it took a beating, but my daughter, she was down in Alabama for 4 years, and she turned into an Alabama fan. I was not an Alabama fan either, and so I kind of softened up a little bit in 48 months of being down there. But still, I don't know about that. Declaring that Indiana is going to win that, I don't know. I think there's a long way to go.
There is. Two more games. They've got to win 2 more, and they are the champion.
I mean, Miami might win it all. Who knows? I mean,
I'd be fine with Miami. I like Miami, but and that's ACC,
right?
So that's even better. But there's something about Indiana that I like the coach. I like the players. They got the Heisman Trophy winner. The quarterback, I think it's Mendoza. Seems like a really nice kid. I'm going with Indiana.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll deal with that. Okay. So
yeah.
Let's dive into some more serious things here. So a couple law changes on yesterday with North Carolina. Let's talk about those. These new law changes. What about North Carolina is only recognizing 2 genders? I think a number of conservative states are moving in that kind of direction for things. Not that you're anti anybody, but wasn't it getting a little confusing with the number of genders that were popping out there?
Yeah, and this is going to be another campaign issue for the Democrats. They'll die on this hill on the federal side of the house. In states like New York and California keep it. But you know what? They're going to do their thing because they're Democrat liberal states. But I don't have a problem with this bill. We didn't have a problem with it 30 and 40 years ago, and I'm 56. So I don't have a problem with it, but, that's just me.
Well, I would say this, that, the Democrats, it killed them in the previous presidential election with Kamala Harris. Too much focus on it. However, I have no problem with the different genders. If there needs to be 6 or 8, I could care less. My issue here is this: why is so much focus being placed on that? Where we have people not able to afford housing, healthcare is going down the tubes. That's where they should be focused on. To even be spending all of this time in the legislature on male, female, that's such a focus. I don't get it. I think it's a waste of time. I could care less either way. I just think our legislators need to be focused passing a budget, only state in the country with not a budget passed. We have issues with affordability in housing and in health care. That's where they should be focused. Forget about the genders. That's my opinion.
Well, let me ask you a question. So now, I think that the real challenge or the question is what's leaking into our schools, our public schools. Now, I'm not talking about high school, grade school, middle school. I'm talking about K school. When, little kids are being exposed to books, Santa Claus boyfriend and stuff like that. I mean, you don't think it's confusing to these kids? Okay, so now I know you got the LGBTQ AI now, and I don't know what AI stands for, but
I don't either.
It's just growing each and every day. I do believe that this is a concern holistically that the society should be concerned about.
And Jay,
Jay, go on, DL.
Jay, we can walk into bubblegum, Jay. Now, here's my thing with it. I agree with Troy. It shouldn't be in our public schools. Now, if the government agency says we're not putting them on our forms, I have no problem with that. Now, if somebody else gets in control of Raleigh, they can flip-flop it. But here's my thing. If you want to, at a private business that you own, if you want to put those genders on your application and you want to acknowledge them with your bathrooms, that's fine. But when it comes to our public schools, it's just where I draw the line. I agree with Troy. We only need to have two because it is confusing.
Yeah, well, let me just say this. As a father of two daughters that are school teachers, both in elementary school, I would agree that it can be very confusing for really young children. However, when we start banning books that might have two men together or two women together in middle school and above, I think that's ridiculous. We should not be banning books. That information is okay to educate people. It's not a germ or disease that people will get. You don't. I think we're really missing the point here. I think it's all about education. We're not trying to convert young children into one type of LGBTQ or being straight. That's not the issue. It's about educating, and I don't think there's anything at all wrong with having books in the school system that talk about all different types of relationships. That's me. I know that very few people are going to agree with me, but I stand by that. And to me, it's all about treating people with respect, whether it's man and woman, man and man, woman and woman. It's treating with respect. And in middle school and above, I think it's totally appropriate to be able to have those conversations.
Well, I would respond like this, and I would just say that, I think that's the whole key. I hear people saying, well, you're using the word respect. Another word that they use is love and all those other things. Look, I think you can do that, but I think there is a grooming process that is happening when you have these books and you're giving them to little kids. It's without a doubt. I think there's a grooming process going on. Now, you might disagree with that, but I think truly there is a grooming process going on. And that if people want to do that, that's okay. But I wouldn't want my child, and I don't have a child at that age, but I wouldn't want my child being exposed to that in school. No, why? I mean, why they got to be exposed to that in public school system?
Yeah, and I would have no problem. And I if there is grooming, that is absolutely despicable and disgusting. If I hear that is an issue going on in these schools, then of course I would have a problem. That is unacceptable. However, as a parent, as a grandparent, if my grandkids are exposed to that, I believe it'll make them better people because they have a better understanding. It's not going to make them go one way or the other. And I just, I stand by that. I know a lot of people would disagree, and I think there are people that would agree with me. I think it's a good conversation, Troy. I really do.
Sure. Well, that's what...
I appreciate you talking about it.
That's what Obama said. Obama, and he did say this, guys. I checked it out. For all those people out there that might want to lose their minds today. Former President Obama did say that he felt like that every young man ought to have a gay male in his life. You see what I'm saying? And then he said he was specifically talking about African American males. Now he said it, and there's no question about that. So that's a fact. But I don't agree with former President Obama about that. I don't see what that contributes to anything positive with all the things that's going on with African American males having a gay male in their life. I don't see how that's something that somebody needs to have.
Well, Troy, I've worked with gay males and had conversations with them in person and on the phone, just like I've had with you and Jay. We talk about things, but I didn't seek that person out. I could care less about their lifestyle. If we had, as colleagues, we had something in common, we needed to talk about it. No big deal. I just think young folks need people in their lives that's going to be positive for them. I'm not going to, that's just my point of view on it. And I'll tell you this, Jay, I heard what you said, Jay, but as long as North Carolina's red, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it.
I don't disagree with you.
It's good for the dialogue. I like the dialogue and all that, but right now it's a moot point because, we got a stronghold in Raleigh.
Right.
Yeah, can I say one last thing, because I think your point is well made. I would not have this if I was a candidate, if Jay was the candidate, this would not be something that I would be focused on. I will tell you that. It's a losing cause, and I think that so much focus on this is what really hurt Kamala Harris and the Democrats.
Well, look, Jay, just for me,
yeah.
Could you get all the Democrats to talk about this as much as possible?
Come on, Troy.
I'm not going to take your advice, Troy, but thank you for offering.
I was only serious, man. Come on, okay. Well, look, another law change is going to be new birth certificates for adopted individuals. I don't know if you deep dive into that, but think about that. These adopted children now have an opportunity to have a new birth certificate. It will have their assigned parents on there, but also it will have their biological parents. How you feel about that?
Wow.
If you're a baby, to me, if you're adopted, I've never been in a situation, but I've known people who adopted kids. At a friend of mine, he adopted a boy at 2 weeks old, and they waited to recently. And he's in college now, and they told him, that he was adopted and whatnot, and didn't, So it's whatever the individuals want. Some adopted kids don't want to know who their birth parents are.
Right.
I think it's a good law.
Yeah, I don't have any opposition to that law. I know you're going to get to it, but I thought the law that intrigued me the most was the cell phone ban in the schools.
Yeah.
And that I really support that, because kids are not focused on the lesson plan. They're more focused on their social media. So I think that's a great idea. And I think it's something that needs to happen across the country.
Okay. Well, and there are people that have their issues with that, Some of them are saying, but it's left up to the school system. You know that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the school system should adopt it. Again, as a parent of teachers, it can be a real problem and a nuisance. I mean, I know we're all, addicted to our phones, but at least during class, I think kids should not be picking up the phone constantly.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So. But that's part of, what's going on with that. Yeah, but you're right about that. I mean, and that's, but again, some of those parents don't want they want the kid to have the phone.
Yeah, I get it. I'm addicted to my phone, Troy. I mean, let's be real. I don't want to go anywhere without it. And I'm one of those people that's a bit addicted to, social media. I'm scrolling, and I love sports, so I'm looking at sports constantly. Not a great thing.
Well,
There, Jay, we can shoot you a rehab center, Jay.
I think I may need one very soon. Thank you for that, DL. I appreciate your support. Always thinking about me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, but you know these phones, real quickly, these phones, they'll tell you the screen time. I had to cut down on my screen time because when I see myself on my phone too much, I'm like, that's too much time on this device, so I had to put it down.
Yeah, I don't look at that. I'm afraid to look at my screen time. I mean, even when I'm out with friends, I'm still checking, and it's just the algorithms. They're addictive, and unfortunately, I've fallen into that trap, and I got to get away. I got to get out of it. Maybe rehab is the place. So let me know about that, DL, after the call.
yeah, I think they tape your eyes up and tie your hands up or something like that. Just kidding. Well, a couple more laws too quickly. You got the healthcare workforce reforms, new laws concerning medical doctors and PAs. I think it'll make it a little easier for them to be licensed in our state. I think we all can agree with something like that, probably, right? It's so long as they qualify, correct?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, sort of like, you know, when you're an attorney and you didn't pass North Carolina bar, you had to have a licensed attorney from this state. And not only the PAs, Troy, you talk about the state of North Carolina is making it easy because we need more certified public accountants.
Right,
Somebody
that's
that can
true.
do audits because we have people who are not honest with government money. So those are some good laws. They're not, and I told a friend of mine, they're not making it easier to become a CPA. I mean, they're not putting people who don't know what they're doing in there. They're just making it a little bit easier to become a certified public accountant. And you still have to have on-the-job training before you can do certain things as a CPA.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, look, guys, I'm going to go to a break right quick. We're going to come right back. Again, tune in with us. We have Jay, who's addicted to his phone, and
Thank you.
DL and I are working with him. So just be mindful of that. 2026. Well, look, we'll be right back, guys. Follow this break.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Respiratory viruses are on the rise, according to data released by the State Department of Health and Human Services. This data reveals a big jump in the number of flu cases compared with last month. An unvaccinated child tested positive for measles in Polk County, according to the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Health insurance costs are set to rise in 2026 for many North Carolinians. U.S. Representative Alma Adams has spoken about the impact from cuts while pushing for a vote on extending tax credits. Swiss investigators are trying to figure out what caused the fire that raged through a bar at a resort in the Alps, killing dozens of people. In Tyler, Texas, parents at University of Texas East Hospital are thrilled to have had the first baby in the area of the new year. Zena Hendricks has the honor of being the first delivered at the hospital. Her parents expressed joy of her birth after a miscarriage. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Quick note that the Global Studies Prep Choice Program at Max Abbott Middle builds language fluency and global awareness through Spanish and French study. The program is an excellent foundation for transition to the Terry Sanford Global Studies Choice Program. Apply by Friday, January 9th. The city of Fayetteville says while your kids may be growing out of their toys, remember they cannot be placed in the blue recycling cart. Either dispose of them in the green waste cart or donate the gently used items to your local donation shelter. Bubbian Drive is a recently completed street from the 2025 Powell bill list and is one of several streets included in the ongoing $4 million contract. That project involved joint sealing, milling, patching, utility adjustments, and street resurfacing. Resurfacing eliminates potholes and cracks, reducing the risk of accidents. Smooth roads mean safer travel for vehicles and pedestrians alike. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
If you have been injured in a motor vehicle collision, you should understand that the insurance company is not on your side. It is the adjuster's job to get by with paying you as little as possible. Call personal injury trial lawyer Brent Adams now for a free no-obligation consultation. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
I am tracking the next weather maker moving through Mississippi and Arkansas this afternoon. It should arrive here tomorrow with some rain. It will gather more moisture coming up from the Gulf, and so it'll be looking more impressive when it arrives. So today, ahead of it, we'll see increasing clouds. It's breezy. It's milder, upper 50s to low 60s. Cloudy skies tonight, above freezing with lows in the low to mid 40s. Watching for rain for Saturday. It's cloudy, highs in the mid 40s to low 50s. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
At Fayetteville State University, you will do something you thought you could never do. And never say never again. With NC Promise $500 per semester tuition, dare to see where you can go. Check out all your options, including our new cybersecurity program. Because tomorrow just can't wait. Fayetteville State University. Anything really can happen. Are you in?
It's your bloomin' idiot from Bell's Seed Store. Jeff Thompson back here to talk to you about bugs. You know, nobody wants to admit they've got bugs in their house. Nobody wants to admit they've got roaches living in their kitchen. But, folks, you've got to live up to it. We've all got it. It's a problem no matter what happens. You can bring them in on the littlest thing, but how are you going to get rid of them? That's the key. Come on down to Bell's Seed Store. We've got the Max Force Roach Gel. You've been hearing us talk about it for years. Mother Hare preached about it, and it is the surefire way to get rid of the roaches in your home. Just a little dab will do you. All you have to do is put this simple gel out along your kitchen and your bathrooms, and you're going to get rid of roaches in 3 days. It is not an issue. Where are you going to find it? Well, downtown at Bell's Seed Store, right across the street from the courthouse, 230 East Russell Street, where we can take care of all your bugs and all your bug problems. So come on down and see us at Bell's.
And we're back with Jay and DL on Fridays here. Let's talk a little bit about another piece here. What about this new auditor, man? You got to give him credit. He's just been on everything. I mean, he's on a tear. And look, and I agree with what he's doing. He's finding what I'm talking about. North Carolina auditor now. He's finding some challenges somewhere. And one place is the school lottery stuff. I mean,
yeah,
they got $3 billion plus surplus, but they got less money going to the schools. Come on, I mean, make it make sense, man. You know something's wrong with that now. Come on, how can it not be?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, first of all, this education lottery, I've never quite understood it, but apparently they took in $20 million less this year over the year before, yet the lottery has made more money. I mean, the money going to the schools are less. I don't even know what these monies are used for. I've always heard it's been infrastructure, building. It doesn't actually go to the payment of teachers, does it, Troy? I'm not sure about that. But ultimately, it seems like there's a lot of money being wagered with, made on this lottery, and it's not going to the schools proportionally. So I just have to add one thing. This is a very aggressive auditor, and I also like it. Auditing is so important. People are so afraid, in local government. It's like, oh my God, the auditor's here. Audit is there to make things run more smoothly and identify those areas that could be improved, and also if there's fraud. And I think to have someone like Dave Boliak, who's looked into the whole, I think, Carytown manager issue. He's looked into some other issues as well. And I think they're even looking at that construction stuff that went on in Cumberland County. So there's the audit has a really important place in state and local government, and I think he's doing an excellent job. I'd like to get some better answers from the State Lottery Board.
Dear?
What I would like, though, getting back to the state lottery, so I know in the House and the Senate, they have different legislatures from the different counties the districts that they represent, that sit on these committees. When do they have their little subcommittee meetings, quarterly or whatever? They should. That's who we need to talk to. So, Troy, you got me wanting to do my homework. Now, let's see who sits on this committee about the North Carolina Educational Lottery. Let me email this person and say, hey, how often do you guys meet? And those are the people, to me, more responsible, because the people at the North Carolina Educational Lottery have to answer to those folks that we elect.
Eventually, you're right. I think the challenge is this. When a couple of them went up there, I guess maybe it's a decade or so ago now, but I know Skip Spam, who's out of Apex, I think you know him, don't you? You guys remember him. He was in the.
I remember the name. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the House, and but he's retired from legislating now. He's a lawyer, but he said, "Look, take off the word education, because it's not an educational lottery, because the money's not going to education the way it should." That's what he advocated, and I would tend to agree with him concerning that. There's some real problems with how that money is being distributed to education. I remember at a time, because I helped some youngsters fill out that FOSSA stuff for college, they were only giving them something like $300. You know what I mean? Now, if you have an educational lottery like the one in Georgia, they actually pay for your education. Down in Georgia at the time, because I looked, they would pay through 2 years, at least 2 years of education, maybe 4. With a certain GPA if you graduate from high school with. So that's what we need, But it seems like to me somebody's just getting a fat wallet now, and it's just not the public.
Yeah, and it does say that, the auditor's given the lottery board the highest possible review, saying that it's the only state lottery in the country that continues year after year to see revenue growth. That leads me to believe they could be doing a lot more for our schools in North Carolina, considering, I think we talked last time, I think we're 43rd in teacher pay or something.
Correct.
We got to do better in North Carolina.
Agreed. No doubt about it. Agreed. Certainly. But in a way, this guy, he's on this thing that's huge. If we could segue away from that and travel up 95 to D.C., they're moving out of the J. Edgar Hoover building. And, which, Jay, you was talking about how this guy treated Dr. King, but look, study a history guy. J. Edgar Hoover destroyed every African-American leader that's ever been when he was alive, going all the way back to Marcus Garvey in the 1920s, because he was there in 1924. You can go all the way back to Marcus Garvey up until the time this guy died. If you were an African-American leader in any kind of way, his whole thing was to destroy you, which amazes me how people can wrap their arms around the so-called Department of Justice. It needs to be called the Department of Injustice.
Oh, I can't agree with you more, Troy. And to
Yeah.
have his name emblazoned on that building for years, knowing what Hoover stood for, he was hateful. And the funny thing is, I don't want to get into too many details here, but he was very homophobic, yet I believe he was gay.
Yeah, of
So,
course, because he
a
had his
lot of-
boyfriend
a
with
lot
him
of-
on the payroll.
Yeah, exactly. So the hate he had for the Kennedys, for MLK, and as you said, every African-American leader in history, and then for that name to be on that building and no one's opposed, I don't even get it. I don't get it. But I am glad they're going to shut it down. Unfortunately, I'm not sure where all these FBI officers will go, but I'm sure they'll figure that out.
The document
Well,
I was reading to talk
Wait,
about,
Troy.
they have a place where they're going not too far away. Don't worry about it. They're moving next door.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
That
that's
deal.
funny.
Here's my thing. I never understood why, I guess, the self-appointed African American leaders back in 21 when they started all this base realignment and renaming stuff, out of all those self-appointed African American leaders, black folks, they didn't target this to be number one. I don't get it. I'm not worried about General Lee from before Reconstruction because it never had an impact on my life. But the J. Edgar Hoover, they dropped the
Good
ball
point.
on that one. Big time.
That's a good point, DL. I totally agree with you.
Well, that's true. But there's a lot of stuff that kind of falls under the radar. You remember just not that long ago, Jay might remember, I don't know if DL remembers, when all the Democrats used to go out west to this Adcock dinner. Y'all remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
And this guy was one of the most racist governors we've ever had, ever, in North Carolina. The most racist governor ever. And all the Democrats would go out and sit there and break bread for this guy, a dinner honoring this guy. And they just lately stopped doing it. I'm talking about the North Carolina people.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, Troy, I'll say this. I don't care what side of the aisle you on, and I hope folks will realize this. You should have no permanent enemies or friends, just mutual interests. So if they had some mutual interest and it suited them, but there's got to be on both sides of the aisle because I get what you're saying. Because if he'd probably been a Republican, they probably wouldn't have been there.
This is true.
Right.
Even if it was named Troy. Anyway, so we were discussing some other things on last night also in our text. What about what's going on in Minnesota? Isn't that kind of, the fraud and everything that's going on out there, isn't that kind of, I don't know, how would you describe that, Jay?
Well, first of all, I would say that any type of fraud is bad. But I think what the problem I have with this entire administration when it comes to focusing on Somali refugees and the Somali people in general, to use this as an opportunity to sort of say, this is what he's saying, we need to get rid of immigrants, Somali people, they're bad, that's not, I think it is a red herring, and quite honestly, we need to get to the bottom of it. I think they talked about $300 million during COVID. That's terrible. I don't think anyone, Democrat, Republican, would say, oh, that's okay. But I think the problem I have is just the targeting of the people. There are many of these Somalis that live in Minnesota are citizens. And I think it's more than just the fraud. It's also about targeting immigrants, and I don't like that part of it. If we're going to stick to the fraud, absolutely get to the bottom of it. But to actually make Somali folks like they're all bad, I think that's a really dangerous thing, and I think it's very cruel and hurtful. That's my point. That's my thought.
Dear?
Well, here's my thing with it, and I tell you this: the COVID, with the pandemic, the PPP loans, all of this. When we finish adding up the total what it costs to America when it comes to fraud, it's going to be widespread. Now, Jay, I agree with a lot of what you said about what President Trump said about the Somalis. However, I got a problem with the state of Minnesota for not putting safeguards in here, because some of the people who committed the fraud are probably, I hope they're not American citizens, because they shouldn't be entitled to any of those programs. But I got a problem with some of the legacy media, especially CNN. CNN had a problem with the guy, the YouTuber who discovered it. Well, just because they didn't let him in, it's a daycare is locked. Okay, how's the focus on the person the whistleblower? Who cares? He's not a law enforcement. He's not a law enforcement official. They have to deep dive through whatever he reports on the hotline. And I'm like, why is you're taking this stand? The fraud is bad because it defrauds the federal taxpayers, and especially the citizens of Minnesota. They had a guy at the press conference said that his files were stolen during a break-in, so he can't provide none of the documentation to say the kids that he had in there, but he has a pair of $1,500 glasses on. So even though we know politics are involved, but at the end of the day, we have to do a better job with catching fraud.
We do. Can I just make one other point before Troy jumps in? Everyone's familiar with the ARPA dollars. Governments from all over the country, including Cumberland County, the city of Fayetteville, city of Durham, they receive millions and millions of dollars. And there was restrictions to those dollars. The question I would have, and not for Cumberland or Durham, this is just overall, how much of that money was really spent where it was supposed to be spent? And how much of that money was spent in other areas? I mean, you're talking probably, like you said, DL, there's probably billions and billions of dollars of waste based on the COVID funds. And I'm not sure if we'll ever get to the bottom. The Somali issue is just one little piece of it, and it's totally wrong. My only issue is go after the bad guys, put them away, do what you got to do. But let's not attack their heritage and being Somali. That is what upsets me.
Yes.
That's the only thing.
I agree with you.
Bad is bad.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Oh, but I have a question for you, Jay. If a person is here illegally, do you refer to them as an immigrant?
Well, you're asking someone. Yes, I do. I do refer to them.
Why would you do that?
Well,
how can it be an immigrant? I'm saying, but how can it be an immigrant, Jay, if they're not here legally?
Well, maybe I need to think about that a little bit more. I think that our system is so messed up. If they're here, maybe I need to rethink that. Let me not be on the record and say they are, but typically I did consider them immigrants, even if they were here illegally.
Yes, I'm saying. See, I think that's part of the problem there. I was rewatching some stuff last night from some past elections, and it was in 2016 when Trump first ran for president. Yeah. And so they were down in Florida, and they was talking to this young lady, and she said, "Well, I'm staying here, but my parents want to come, and all this other stuff, and they weren't there legally, and like it's a lot of people that are not here legally, especially you go down in Florida and stuff like that, but because there's a lot of folk that are down there. I just happened to be down there recently, with my daughter, but I just don't understand the people that want to characterize someone as an immigrant when they are here illegally, because they're not in a legal status. An immigrant is someone that came here in a legal status.
What do you call them when you're referring to those individuals? You just say illegal alien, illegal. How are they referred?
That's what the federal statute says, sir. That's what the federal statute says.
Yeah, and I don't like alien.
I know. You see, that's it. So now we're into all this feeling stuff. Okay.
I know,
that doesn't feel.
And that's what gets us in trouble. You're right. You're right. But I'm human, and I guess I'm just a little bit more liberal.
The federal law says that's what they are. You know what I mean? Illegal
I get it.
aliens. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I get it.
you heard about the kid from Montgomery County in the schools.
I know.
It was a big mess, but that's what I'm talking about. So a kid gets in trouble for referring to someone using the actual federal legal code.
Right. You're right.
Because
That's
somebody
where we get in
doesn't
trouble.
like it.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's true. That's where the Democrats get in trouble, and you're absolutely right. We're too touchy-feely instead of worrying about the bigger issues, and I think that got us in trouble last time. I have to ask you guys, I don't know if we have time, if it's okay, Troy, what do you think about Mamdani getting elected in New York as New York's mayor? DL and Troy, thoughts?
You can go there if you want to. I'll let you and DL lead off on that.
I'll tell you this. I'm concerned about some of his cabinet appointees, but the citizens of New York have spoken. I'm not a New Yorker, but with that said, though, he needs to be. New York is a hot spot for terrorism, and he needs to be careful on who he appoints in certain positions, and he needs to be smart about it. And people don't realize the fire department commissioner and the New York City police commissioner do not have to be a law enforcement officer. They do not have to be actual in the fire related field and whatnot. Yeah. Commissioner, the police chief of New York.
That is interesting.
They don't. No, they're more of executives. They're more considered executives. So that would be my only concern, that he, just put competent people in those positions, because New York is New York. Unique.
Yeah.
But DL, I would say this. Let me chime in with this, because you said that.
Yeah, sure.
There's no way I believe the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, which is a strong union, there's no way they're going to allow a non-law enforcement person to be over cops. I don't see that happening.
The lady, Troy, Google the lady that Eric Adams put in charge. She is not a law enforcement officer. The lady that, I don't know if she's still the police commissioner, and she's not a law enforcement officer.
She is. They're going to keep her on.
But I'm saying, so the FOP, you don't think has a problem with that?
Well, she's already there. She's not a. She's never
I'm
been
not saying,
a
but I'm
cop.
saying, but do you believe the FOP has a problem with that? Is the
I
question.
don't know if they have. Well, I was kind of surprised when I seen it, but Adams is the. Adams was the mayor of it. They sold off on it, but I don't know if she'll keep. You said she's keeping her job, so
she is. I would just say this. I think this benefits you, Troy, and other Republicans. I think this will be used in every single ad trying to label the Democratic Party as socialist. And I personally think it's not good for the Democratic Party. I think he's very charismatic. I think he's very bright. But I think at the end of the day, he's not going to be able to move a lot of his initiatives forward, because there's just you can't do some of the things that he wants to do regarding affordability.
Exactly.
And I just think it's a setup, and ultimately he's going to get a lot of pushback, and I think it's actually going to hurt the party. I'm not against him. I just don't think it's good for Democrats in general, because it will really be a big part of 2026 and 2028.
Well, hold on a second, Jay. I'm going to give you some pushback. Jay, if
Please.
I'm a Democrat in North Carolina or any other state, and if I'm on the campaign trail and I debate somebody, why are we talking about New York? I'm concerned about my constituents. I'm not concerned about a New York mayor.
I totally get it.
So let them paint, say whatever they want to, but you're not responsible for what goes on in New York.
Totally
Now
get
if you can't defend your position as a Democrat running for state or federal office, then you don't need to be on that platform. Then if you let them stick you with a New York mayor,
I don't disagree with you, but the Republicans have very good marketing and advertising. You see what happened during the Harris campaign, and I'm telling you, while I agree with you 100%, they're very good at marketing, and they will tie candidates somehow, even if it's not true, to socialism. So I agree with you. Yeah.
Well, Jay, your legacy media is what put the wheels in motion when they lied. Well, they didn't lie to me because I could see that President Biden should have sat down years ago. So that's a whole different ball game. You didn't have the candidate. You didn't have a primary, because I still say if Mark Kelly runs, he wins. But that's going to be my comment for today.
That's a good comment, DL. Thank you for that comment.
But look, but now, DL, I have to agree with Jay because I've already seen it. I was watching this little thing. They had a thing with Cooper. It was his face, and they was putting his face after it was actually it was either Harris or Clinton, one of those, the females, and they just moved his face over their face. You know what I mean? That's clearly what they're going to do. But it goes both ways. I mean, people assign people to Donald Trump, the president. You know, if they don't, they don't like him, and you're a Trumpster, you're a mega or whatever. That's what they do. So
Yeah, exactly.
quite naturally, that's what they're going to do with those folk. They're going to call them that, and let's be honest, some of them are. That's exactly what they are,
Yeah.
Jay. That's what they believe.
That's very true. It's going to be an interesting midterm and interesting 2028. We got a lot of conversation to happen in the next few years.
And you have to keep a straight face when you are interviewing all those people.
Oh, I do. I do. I am.
You do a great job with that, man. You do a great job with that.
Fair and honest and ethical.
I know you are. And that's why I appreciate you with that, man. I mean, you sit right there and you keep a straight face. And then when you get in front of Troy, then you turn in to Superman. You Clark Kent in front of them. And then you run in the phone book and come out, and you're Superman in front of Troy.
Yeah.
Look, guys, great show starting off, kicking off 2026. Appreciate you all so much. And it's going to be colder in January, already predicted, than it was in December. So, but anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being with us. And you all stick around. You're going to have Reverend Dr. Godbolt coming on at 10 with a heartbeat. And then you're going to have at 11, I guess those guys will be in today. Yeah, MP3 will be in today at 11. So great programming today. And we love you guys, and just have a great year. 2026 is where it's at. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.